All right, so today we're at the Art Gallery of Alberta. Got a very special guest, my good friend, actually one of my role models too, Mr. Shawn Kanungo. So what we're gonna do is, Shawn's actually downstairs right now. He just finished filming up one of his keynotes. We're gonna go downstairs, dap him up, say what's good, and we're gonna roll right into the podcast. So if you guys aren't familiar, right now we're in my hometown, Edmonton, Alberta, born and raised in Canada. Now, obviously, if you're watching this, you already know this is the Brown Ballers podcast. So Shawn Kanungo is a man of many things. He's a father, he is an entrepreneur, he's a keynote speaker, a disruption strategist, a TikTok dancer, and honestly a lot more in between. We're gonna uncover that today and show you guys why he's a brown baller. So this should be his level. Let's go find him, let's go see what's good. You can see the beautiful art here. Again, we're at the Art Gallery of Alberta. What's going on, brother?
Hey!
What is up, man?
What's going on?
Great to see you, man. How you
I'm
doing?
excited. Brown Ballers
Bro,
podcast.
We've been talking about this. It's finally time. Look, we got some beautiful artwork. I know you've been here working. I was telling them upstairs, like, yo, this man's filming another keynote.
Yeah.
He does about 10 per
Well,
day.
I know you're all about in the lab. I want to show you my lab, which is the theater.
So this is your lab.
This is the lab.
So Shawn does a lot of his stuff in really nice theater. So I'm gonna let him. Let's go inside. Let's check it out.
No, this is the Art Gallery of Alberta theater, and we shoot a lot of like pre-recorded or virtual live stream keynotes in here. And I just like the theater vibe because number one, the lighting's already set. Mm-hmm. You know, it creates the vibe for theater at the end of the day. It creates the vibe for performance. So that's why I love doing stuff in theaters. But really, let's be honest. I've been waiting my entire life to be on Brown Ballers
All
podcast.
of his work is built up into this moment right here. We're about to take it. The lights are on, cameras are rolling.
Let's do it. And hey, Navin, look at this. I set this up. Look at this.
Dude, let me hold this
The
coffee,
bold. You want to hold this coffee?
Oh my God.
The bold ones.
We need the sound effect when Jesus is holding the baby. Like, you know that sound effect I'm talking about? This book is releasing December 6th. We're going to plug it up later. We're going to have a whole segment about this book, The Bold Ones, which he's going to talk about. But
Absolutely.
man, let's have some fun. Let's dive in here.
Let's have some fun.
You know, things are rolling. Let's just have a quick life update first.
Yeah.
Because my wife, Abika, always tells me she can't keep up with me. And I'm like, I don't really like do that much stuff. I only go to the same place. I always go to LA. Then I look at you. And every day you're in a different country or a different place.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm just confused as to if you're faking it. Like I don't know how you're getting to all these places and then coming back and then going all around. So
yeah.
Let's just say the last 30 days.
Woo!
Because you've been a lot of places.
Days.
Can you give us a recap?
I mean, this week I was in Nashville, Toronto. I'm going to Calgary, Vancouver this week. Week before that, I was in LA. I mean, Spain, Dubai,
you are global.
Everywhere, man. Every week, check it out, ShawnKanungo.com, and you can check out where I'm at. And you know what it is? I only spend 1 or 2 days in a particular city.
Yep.
Max like a day. Like for example, I was in Nashville on Wednesday, and I just basically I go there for a day, I sleep, and then I come back.
Quick trips in and out.
Quick trips. I don't mess around. I don't try not to spend more than one night there.
Do you feel the wear and tear? The travel?
You know what it is? I'm like,
are you just locked in?
You know what? I am locked in, and my superpower, my superhero strength is being able to work on the plane. Like I'm terrible at working at home. I'm terrible working in an office, but you get me on a plane.
And you're just knocking stuff out on the plane.
And I'm a monster. I think it's what it is. It's like a prison mentality where you're locked in. You have nothing Wi-Fi.
Else to do, really.
You have nothing else to do. You're locked in. You're working. You're doing your thing. So I love being on the plane because you're just like and I'm a psychopath because
I know.
I will switch sometimes to the middle seat. Just so that I know I'm just squeezing two big motherfuckers and lock me in.
You know what's crazy? Like I like to think that I can do work at any place and I'm very efficient. I've never been able to work on a flight.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. For me, it's just like I gotta get there and watch a movie to pass time. And I've tried to bring my laptop and do stuff. So I know you're sadistic because you're telling me this.
And you know the other thing is, this is just for the Brown Ballers podcast. But and by the way, if you've gotten this far, by the way, in the Brown Ballers podcast, I need them to subscribe, to follow, to rate, review, and follow the other podcast on the Title Network. But they're producing some amazing podcasts. So if you got this far, subscribe, follow. But I'm just gonna say this, and all peace and love to the other guests, and you've had some amazing guests on this on this pod, this is going to be the most fire
I already know too.
podcast.
Yeah, I already
It's going to
know.
be the best podcast. But no, this is how sadistic I am. I'll get in a plane and I'll look at other people and be like, they're not working. I'm getting ahead. But you see, they'll look at me though. And they'd be like, what kind of job does this guy have?
What does he do?
What a terrible job that this guy has.
They probably think you work a 9-to-5 desk job. You're crunching some numbers, some paperwork right now.
Yeah.
But they don't know you're probably building a keynote.
I'm doing something, but they're enjoying their lives. Actually, that's maybe where I strive to be at their level, which is being able to relax on a plane and not being able to work.
I love that. I gave you I think a pretty solid introduction on the elevator ride down.
Yeah. I don't even know what you said.
You don't need to know. You're gonna have to watch the video to understand what I said.
Okay.
But before we dive into like your introduction, who is Shawn Kanungo? We've made a lot of content together, and they've always been some of my favorite times because it's literally just us shooting the shit, trending topics, whatever's out in the world. You always have a great take on things. Yeah. And we're gonna bring it back because it's been a long time, and I missed those pieces of content.
I know.
So this is for right now. It's gonna be quick takes. We don't have a name for it, but this is quick takes.
Quick takes.
Shawn Kanungo.
Okay.
Mixture of different things. We answer how you want. You just whatever comes to your mind, you shoot it.
I'm gonna throw some stuff back at you.
You have to throw it back, and that's why I love doing content with you. So first,
listen, I'm not gonna lie to you because a lot of people, they listen to this content and they're not listening for me. Okay, I'm not gonna lie to you. 99% of the world has no idea who Shawn Kanungo is. They're hearing for you. For Brown Ballers, but by the way, when my book drops on December 6th, they're gonna know who I am. But now they don't. They don't.
And by the way, as this releases, because this is releasing December 7th, this is pre-planned. Yeah, the book is available. The book's everywhere. The link's gonna be up there, popping up in the description. So you need to cop one of these.
Chapters, Barnes and Noble. Just walk in and buy it.
I think I sent you a picture. I pre-ordered it. Obviously, just so does so many other people in this room. And I will be bringing it, just like Rohit said. I will be bringing it to your house. And I will be demanding a signature. Hey, listen. And I will be demanding many other things to go in this book.
Okay, absolutely, man. Okay. Thank you.
Quick takes. Going to start off easy and we're just going to have some fun flow. Brown Ballers podcast. Favorite Indian dish?
Favorite Indian dish? I got to go with...
What's the go-to?
Us Indians, we love lamb. A nice lamb
Rogan
curry.
Josh curry.
Lamb curry that's tender. Woo, you can't beat it. What about you?
Falls off the bone. Yeah, this is gonna this is not exposing myself.
Oh my, those.
I am a little more basic. Okay, I'm just gonna be. I like Drake. I like simple things, and butter chicken is my favorite thing.
Get out of here, man!
It's my favorite thing,
butter chicken.
But it's not just.
Oh my god!
It's not just store bought.
Okay, we need to rename this podcast, Brad. White Ballers Podcast. What butter chicken?
Yo. What can I say, man? I grew up eating butter chicken. You get a little spice in there. You get that butter, that cream. Okay. It soothes my soul. It's right into my arteries. It's where it needs to be. Anyways. Wow. This is not about me. This is about you, okay? So don't throw it back. Okay, so you got the Indian dish, lamb. What about overall food? Because I was always curious about this. So we're doing...
Overall food.
I'm gonna preface this. So we're doing 4 podcasts in 3 days, right? And for each guest, it's a unique take. I'm doing more of hosting as opposed to like, I'm just going to hammer you with questions, right? Yeah. And I was thinking, man, because I wanted to have something around food here, not like a mukbang, but I had this cool idea. But in my head, I was like, man, I don't know anything that Shawn likes to eat. So I'm actually uncovering these for the future episode we do together. Yeah. So we got the lamb. Yeah. Anything you can pick. Is it pizza, McDonald's?
You know what it is? My dad used to make in the summertime amazing barbecue chicken.
Fresh off the grill,
fresh off the grill. Okay, nice marinated barbecue chicken. There's nothing that beats a good chicken. What about you?
Pizza, bro, without a doubt.
Pizza, yeah.
Pizza, without a doubt. This is the most important question: is dessert.
Dessert.
Do you have a sweet tooth, first of all? Because some people don't.
You know what? I'm fine. I have every tooth for every meal. Sweet tooth. I love a good ice cream. I love a good chocolate, cookies and cream kind of ice cream.
Yeah. Made by Marcus Cookies and Cream. Yeah. Okay.
You?
That's actually my favorite.
Oh yeah.
Made by Marcus Cookies and Cream.
We're gonna go there after.
Donut party. Honestly, I have like multiple sweet teeth. My mom always says this. My whole mouth is just. I have a sweet teeth. Yeah. It's not sweet tooth, sweet teeth. Yeah. All of them. So anyways, let's really get into some stuff now.
Okay.
Okay. Crypto FTX.
Woo. Okay.
And I'm saying this to preface, I know we haven't done any Web3 crypto NFT content on Brown Ballers, but there is some stuff coming.
Okay. I got to tell you this. And so This book was printed in October.
Okay. Oh,
So I have a small, obviously
There's
it
something
takes a
in there.
long, by the way, it was due in April. So I had to write this in April.
right.
It prints, there's a whole bunch of things. You had to go through edits. It prints in October.
Okay.
I got a very small piece in there. Sam Bankman-Fried.
No.
And
But what is it?
You know what it basically, the reason why I included him in the book was I talk about when you look at innovations, it's really about finding secrets, loopholes, quick fixes. And Sam Bankman-Fried is one of the GOATs when it comes to, he's a fraud. He's one of the biggest fraudsters of all time. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. He's one of the biggest fraudsters of all time. Now that we know, now that the book is printed, which I don't include in the book. So this is the prologue. But he did something very clever. He found there's a difference in the crypto exchanges between Japan and the US, and he took advantage of that arbitrage. He found that secret. He found that loophole, and so a great way of finding a secret. Now, subsequently, he is one of the biggest fraudsters of all time. So unfortunately, that's what happened. And the other thing, I included Kanye in the book. And then he became an anti-Semite after that. So listen, I'm just, there's a lot of people in the book, but they're not prominent. They're just like very small pieces. But you know, when it comes to crypto, FTX, maybe it was a correction that we needed. This was the biggest fraud in probably all of history. It set back crypto, a number of different years, maybe 2-3 years, maybe more. And maybe it's the correction that we needed. Like I saw 2022 fall, and this was like the bottom. It imploded. And I was choked. I was really choked about it. But I'm still so bullish on the platform, just on the crypto, on blockchain, on NFTs. Yep. It's a transformative innovation, and we just need other people to see it. And we go from there. So listen, maybe it's the correction that we needed.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. Because
did it hit you in the soul like it hit me?
Yeah, I did. It's just like, here's my thing. We had a bunch of NFT scams that we experienced also. Rich kids, whatever, all these other NFT scams. Yeah. So in the past year, there's been probably thousands of scams, but nothing really like changed anyone's mindset or made them think about crypto and NFTs in my mind, in a bigger way.
Yeah.
I think, like you said, this is the correction I hope that's needed. There's still going to be many scams that are coming and people are plotting bigger things, but I think this is huge. I want to ask you this. With Sam, do you think he's just like a pawn, a poster child? Or do you think he is actually that genius that created all of this?
Well, he's an idiot. He's not a genius. He's an idiot. You're not supposed to take customer deposits. That's just
crazy how much money was just taken out.
That's inexperienced. That's fraud at the end of the day. And he was a guy who's probably back in the corner. He's like, what do I do? I'm hemorrhaging in terms of Alameda research. I know lots of people listening to that are like, what the hell are they talking about? But no, I don't think he's like a pawn. I think he just committed something that he shouldn't have done, and he should pay the price for it.
Yeah. And like you said, we're both very big and high on blockchain, the technology and the use cases for NFTs and everything that's going to be coming out of it. So we're still very bullish on it.
100%.
Nothing's changed in my mindset or our approach in that. And that goes into my next potentially hot topic. I don't know how you feel about it because it's been a while since we've talked about this. NBA Top Shot.
Yeah.
Where are you at? Like, what's your thoughts on NBA Top Shot?
I've definitely cooled off on buying any
100%
on any cards, and then also or any moments, and then even the whales that I know in the space have also cooled off.
Yeah.
I think. Listen, it's still early. They need to do something with their supply. Like NBA Top Shot has. That's where they just flooded the market with supply.
Too much.
And it's diluted the product. But at the end of the day, I'm not here for the financialization of it, right? If you like the NBA, if you like the idea of NFTs, then you should continue, right? I got the moments that I like. The problem is they put too many shitty moments in there.
Yeah.
You just need to get the right moments from the right players, and then that's what you hold. I don't want to hold like a Klay Thompson block. I don't care. I don't care about that moment, right? I like Klay, but I don't need that moment. So they need to burn 95% of the supply, and then you'll see the prices go back. But it's not about the price. It's about, to me, at the end of the day, it's about the moments.
Yeah.
And
that's what matters.
That's what matters. So I don't. What do you think?
We're on the same page. Like for me, like I feel like there was a period where we were just so into it and it was so hot, and it just slowly fizzled more and more. And now to the point where I get the emails. I don't care what packs are dropping. I don't really care what moments are out there because they haven't done anything that was like significant enough for me to be like, I'm excited.
They did do
to
a
get
Magic
that.
Johnson drop, which was
Yeah,
really
I saw
cool.
the Magic Johnson drop, and like I get it. I know they're probably. I'll be excited when there's like a great that we know.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be Kobe or it's gonna be MJ. And I know there's stuff that's supposed to be coming, but for me and all the other people in the market are just like, there's just too much. It's oversaturated.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it there. Is Luka still your top? Is that still your number one moment that you have?
So I think I have more expensive or like more highly valued moments, but I believe the Luka Doncic game winner against the Clippers is the number one moment on Top Shot because it is the number one. Like Luka is a transcendent player, so it's already undervalued. Luka's going to be one of the greatest players ever.
He is.
That was one of his first like big moments ever. But most importantly, and the reason why I love NBA Top Shot is that moment was like such a. It was like it's pierced into my memory. I know exactly
That's crazy,
when he hit that shot, where I was. I was at my mom's house. We were watching it. It was like a Sunday afternoon or a Saturday afternoon, and I was like, Luka. The whole building shattered. I remember tweeting out, Luka.
It was a big iconic moment.
So to me, that was definitely my favorite moment. And I think it's such an undervalued moment.
I love that. Sticking with the NBA topics.
Yeah.
Put you on the spot once again.
Yeah.
Who is your all-time?
Iguodala.
Please don't ever say that.
I love Tesher. Tesher's like top 5. Curry, Yao Ming, Iguodala. That's the best moment of Round Ballers podcast. We're going to try to beat it, but that was the best moment of the podcast.
So let's see if you could beat it.
Yeah.
Who's your all-time starting 5?
Starting 5. Well, I got to go Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Got to go Michael. Got to go LeBron.
Okay.
Got to go Shaq. Big Shaq. And
Prime
am I
Shaq,
missing a forward here? I mean,
anything you want. You have 3 or 4. 5?
I probably go Magic.
Okay.
Because
so Magic and Steph.
You got Magic and Steph in the backcourt because you need somebody. You need Magic to toss it to these guys, right? Everybody's kind of like a shooter, a scorer. You need Magic to shoot, or
some
pass.
lobs,
You need
to
Steph
MJ.
to shoot the threes.
Yep.
You got Jordan, LeBron, of course, the GOATs, and then you got the big man in the middle. To me, that's the top 5. What are you talking about?
I love that.
Name a better top 5.
You didn't have Kobe in there.
You know what? You have to choose LeBron or Kobe, right?
I know.
So you got to go.
It's such a.
And MJ and Kobe. I think somebody said this. MJ and Kobe. You know who are you going to choose? You're
It's
going
like
to choose
they're
MJ.
almost so identical.
Exactly.
Right?
So you got to go with MJ. I love Kobe. I think Kobe. I mean, it's a hot take. Kobe took too many shots. R.I.P. But he took too many shots. I mean, he's Mamba mentality. I love his mentality, but he took too many shots.
He did overshoot, but that's my guy. So he's allowed to shoot a shot any day of the week.
Okay.
Anyways, Steph is unreal. He's killing
Steph
it.
is my favorite player of all time. Steph,
okay.
You know, okay.
So is Steph and Luka
So
for
let
you?
me just put this book out. Okay. So LeBron James is the greatest player in the NBA ever. Like people might say MJ. To me,
Okay, so for you, it's
LeBron.
LeBron.
LeBron is the greatest.
Fair enough.
However, the most disruptive player, the person that changed the game
100%.
of basketball, is Steph Curry.
Without a doubt.
He changed how the game is played, and that is what the Bold Ones is all about. The Bold Ones is about the idea of disruptors, people that are changing the game, not necessarily the best or the greatest of all time. The people that change the game. And that's why I love Steph, because he's changed the game.
Steph is one of few players to like literally make kids to pro players do exactly what he does.
100%.
Shoot the long 3, take the crazy floaters. Like we always talk about this. He transcended the game of basketball in ways that people only can dream of.
Exactly.
Right. So I love that you brought it back to the book.
And another disruptor in basketball is AI.
Mm-hmm.
Because AI, obviously, you know, we wouldn't put him in the top 50 of all time. I don't even, maybe, is he in top 75? He's in the top 75. He's
yeah.
Top 75. But he changed the culture, right? And that is a disruptor. So I love those guys. I love the people that are changing.
Let me ask you this. Did you play basketball when you're younger?
No.
Whether it's for fun or anything?
No, I was a ball hockey guy.
So I'll tell you how I know what he just said is accurate with Allen Iverson, because he transcended fashion, because he used to sell these finger bands. Have you ever seen the finger bands?
No.
So he used to wear these like small, it was like a wristband for your finger.
Yeah.
He used to wear 3 or 4 of them at a time when he played. And I remember pulling up in junior high and telling my mom I need those 4 for $20. and I'd pull up to practice with four wristbands around my finger.
Wow.
Imagine just trying to dribble and do things with a wristband around your finger. How that affected your game.
Yeah.
But that was the impact Allen Iverson had.
Wow.
Like literally just crazy stuff like that, wearing the headbands back in the day, the braids.
Yeah.
So love that.
I know this thing is called brown ballers, okay? I know you got a couple
Go
hot
ahead.
takes. Okay. This thing is called brown ballers, but let's be honest. Most brown people, especially in Canada, I know this is really listed around the world. Most brown people in Canada play street hockey, not ice hockey.
Yes, street hockey.
Street hockey. We all grew up on the streets.
Yeah.
And some of the best ballers, street ballers, are actually street hockey players.
Yep.
And the reason why brown people are some of the best street hockey players in the world, like I think we were like, India was like number 2 in like the world championships, is because, hockey was an expensive sport, right? And, growing up as South Asians, parents were like, they were conservative. So that's why we loved hockey. We played on the streets. That's why there's so many amazing street hockey players that came out of like the South Asian community here. So, when I think about brown ballers, I always go back to like the street hockey legends, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, we gotta interview some street hockey legends.
We do. I was just talking to him about this and trying to get some of those hockey players on, but sticking with brown ballers.
Yeah.
What is a brown baller to you?
Yeah. Well, that's why I love the form of this podcast, because many people think of brown ballers, they're thinking about like people that are basketball or the idea of rich. To me, the idea of brown ballers is the people that are stepping outside of their comfort zone, people that are actually doing something differently. The people that are reinventing what it means to be a South Asian. I say reinventing because so many of us have become engineers, doctors, accountants, lawyers. We've become something very traditional.
Yep.
And I'm inspired by people that are able to step outside of that.
Yes.
Because that means they stepped outside of their parents' like desires and they did something differently. That's why I love what you're doing and what you've done with your career and in the lab and all the things that you're doing, the Brown Ballers podcast. It's been inspiring. I love seeing people like you, my buddy Sachin Sahel. He's an actor. He's going off and doing things. So I love seeing people that are outside of that realm, because to me they have won. Like you guys have 100%. Won because you stepped outside of what your parents wanted you to do.
Yeah, to me it's so important for us in this next generation for us to start breaking these stereotypes. Like we have enough doctors, scientists. Like that's all we're being pegged as. Right now, for us, it's like...
And by the way, no disrespect to anybody.
No, of course not.
I just think, I know this is a really hot take, but like, I think being something other than a doctor, accountant, lawyer, and my brother's a doctor, most of my friends are lawyers and accountants and whatever else, I think it's actually, to go outside of that is actually a harder path, because it's the path that's less traveled.
Less traveled, absolutely.
And so because of that, you don't have a blueprint. You don't have a playbook to go off of.
Yep.
I know how to get to law school. I know how to get to med school and become a doctor.
Yep.
It's a trail that's already been blazed.
Yeah.
But to go off and do something that's never been done, you don't have a playbook. Who are you reaching out to? I swear to God, whether it's keynotes or the book, I didn't have a path. There's nobody showed me. I didn't tap on anybody's shoulder. I had no models to go off it. Had nobody in my community. You have to blaze the trail. And then guess what? You blaze the trail and there's 100 people behind you that are like, oh shit, the trail is blazed.
Because now there's someone that can actually follow.
Exactly.
Yeah, the traditional path is always easier to me. That's how I've seen it. What our parents want is easier. Because like I said, the blueprint's already there. The stuff we're doing, no one knows how to do it. Even us, we don't know how to do it because we're trying to push forward and trying to figure out what that blueprint looks like.
100%.
So I love that. I love how I always get so excited speaking to you because the passion is bleeding through.
Yeah, I love this topic. So
continuing on with that is Mr. Beast. And as you can tell, I'm bringing up things that we would normally talk about.
No, and that's why I love talking to you, because I think we have similar interests and mindsets around where the world is going and who we follow and stuff like that. Just in general, Mr. Beast.
Why don't we start with? I'm sure you saw the restaurant launch.
Yeah.
Why don't we just start with how he's transcending what it means to be a creator and literally building $1 billion business as one single individual.
Yeah, we talk about this all the time. I think Mr. Beast is the blueprint for the future of creators.
Yeah.
Meaning he has built a direct relationship with his audience. And because of that, you can see he's created Feastables, like the snack food company. He's created Mr.
The
Beast
burgers,
Burger,
yep.
virtual restaurants all over North America. And of course, he has his in-person restaurant. I think that shows the power of the individual, one person without a traditional footprint in any of these particular industries,
Yep.
disrupting those industries. That is the blueprint of what creators can do. Like he's
Exactly.
showing it. And so people talk about LeBron or MJ being the GOAT. They talk about, I don't know, Richard Branson being the GOAT of entrepreneurship. Mr. Beast is the GOAT of creators.
Without a doubt.
And he's showing what is possible.
Yeah.
What do you think?
100% on the same page. He even says in some of his interviews, is like, I don't understand why people aren't following me or trying to see what I'm doing and take that back into their business. And I feel like that's a big miss on social media. You don't actually pay attention to what you're listening to or watching. But for me, and the reason I brought this up is because within the lab right now, I always try to dissect this Mr. Beast. What's he doing? How can we apply it? He's trying to be the creator, the end all be all of entertainment on YouTube. How do we take that and be that for basketball? How do we be the end all be all for basketball? And the thing we're implementing right now is the languages. Because to me, that's still such a genius idea. When you have so much content, and if you want to tap a global market like
That's an
basketball,
Yeah.
you need to repurpose content.
I don't think people are understanding what you're talking about. So explain Mr. Beast's translation.
Mr. Beast has many YouTube channels. He has Mr. Beast Gaming and food and reacts and all this stuff. And he also recently created Mr. Beast Espanol, Mr. Beast in French, Mr. Beast in Hindi, and Portuguese, and a bunch of other languages that I'm probably missing. And all these YouTube channels have millions of followers that are based within that specific country. And what's even crazier is he's hired the best voice actors in the world in those countries, which the average person can't do. And they're voicing over or dubbing his videos.
It's genius.
So if there's a joke in American that maybe someone in India won't understand, that translator will make it so that culture over there will understand, which I think is like mind blowing. And he's killing it.
Yeah.
And he's even said he has a bigger fan base in India than it does anywhere else in the world. And you got to think about that. This Gore or this white guy has a biggest audience in India where it's all brown people.
That's amazing.
But he's just what I love about him is the way he thinks. Cause like you said, it's the blueprint. So as a creator, we're all creators. How do we try to see some of the things he's doing or his team's doing and implement that within our life? So I'm always just trying to dissect him. That's why I always like picking your brain.
Yeah, I know. I think he's a really inspiring person, for this generation or any generation. He is like, he has that Mamba mentality, right? He will step over his grandmother to create a video. Just like how Kobe would do the same to get to the basket or whatnot. He's so psychotic about creating the best damn video that it's inspiring. Like the fact that he has analyzed, 10,000, thumbnails just to figure out what the right one is. Like he understands YouTube better than YouTube. And to me, 100%. That's crazy.
He has to be an advisor that we don't know about and you bring up the thumbnails. I think he said he spends $100,000 on thumbnails he spent some ridiculous amount on thumbnails and testing thumbnails, which is like things that people aren't even
totally
thinking about, man, which is crazy. So like, that's another thing we took. Like I finally hired a thumbnail artist, which like makes it different. Cause like he talks about, not to get too techie, I'll end it here on YouTube, but like click-through rate or the average view. It's like, those are things that are so important to monetize and build on YouTube. It's like the average creator is not thinking about that, but he's doing it.
He's doing it.
And he's talking about it openly.
Yeah. And again, going back to it, I think what's impressive is not only what he's doing with YouTube, but what he has done around brands and what he's going to build. Like he is going to be a billionaire. He is going to be able to build like $1 billion companies based on what he's doing. It might take a couple years, 5 years, 10 years, but he's going to do it. Just like how LeBron, became a billionaire, like it was going to happen because when you have a relationship with your customers, with your audience, to me, that's the most powerful asset in the world.
Yep. We always talk about this attention and eyeballs.
Yep.
What else? I don't know what else really matters. And he has the community. You probably saw Colin Samir's day. Man, like just seeing all those people, and we know people are going to show up, but just still seeing the mall packed with thousands of people coming to get a burger, waiting multiple days in line, man, it's like, man, this guy like really has it down packed right now.
Yeah.
Like, love Mr.
Totally
Beast.
agree. Totally agree.
Love Mr. Beast paving the way.
It's funny, man, because I last piece on Mr. Beast, like I'll go to these keynotes that I do, and generally when I go to the keynotes, like the average age of folks are 40 to 60, and I ask how many people in the room know Mr. Beast, and I'd say like 10% of people know Mr. Beast. And then I actually just recently did something with students last week in Calgary.
Okay.
I'm like, how many people in this room know Mr. Beast? And I'd say maybe like 30 to 40%. So
Oh, wow.
it's what's always interesting to me is how he is the biggest YouTuber on the planet,
Still.
yet on the biggest platform on the planet.
Yeah.
Bigger than Netflix,
Yep.
bigger than anything. He's the biggest thing on
Mhm.
the biggest platform, and yet still very few people know him.
So yeah.
And I think that's where the world is going. The world, even though you're the biggest thing on the biggest platform, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, like he's like not a superstar yet, or he's not an A-list star, which
Not
is
yet.
and maybe he will never be.
That's what I was gonna say. He may never reach that.
Or maybe
status.
he is already, but we need to reframe what an A-list star.
That's a good way
will
to
you
say it.
have somebody that everyone will know?
Yeah.
And I was just arguing this with my friend. I think the idea of a superstar is over. There's no A-list superstars. Like in music, the A-list that we talk about today are made because they were made 10 years ago.
Right.
Taylor Swift, Drake,
Yeah.
these guys were made 10 years ago. The people that have come up in the last 1 to 3, 4 years, like my mom doesn't know who Dua Lipa is. My mom doesn't know who Jack Harlow is. Like,
Yeah, that's
you know,
true.
they're amazing and they're huge. They're not. It's just tough to make a superstar now.
Yeah, and I think this is my last point on him is I asked my mom the other day, and she brought up a good point, which I think goes to what you just said is she's heard the name Mr. Beast,
Interesting.
but she could never point him out in a crowd.
Right.
But she's heard it multiple times, and not for me, like just whatever,
Yeah.
whether it's the news or she's on YouTube, so she's heard it, but she's like, yeah, I have no idea what it looks like, which I think would be a case for many people
Yep.
where they probably heard that name. So we'll switch, but we'll stay on this creators a
Yeah.
little bit. We're gonna talk quickly YouTube versus Twitter, but first Elon and Twitter takeover.
Woo!
So I know
Let's
you've
go.
touched about talked about this with Swish, I think, and some other people probably too. But what is your thought right now, just with what's going on?
I think what Elon did with Twitter is a really interesting play. He didn't need Twitter. He doesn't need it to make money. He doesn't need it to do anything. He already has companies that are making billions of dollars. He didn't need it. And to me, he wanted to do it because of freedom of speech, right? At the end of the day. And I'm actually pro Elon. I'm not there's a lot
I'm
of,
not anti-Elon.
and this is a very divisive topic
Yeah.
because for some reason, I don't know why, but Elon has become super divisive. So to me, it never made sense. Yes, he says some stupid stuff on Twitter,
Yeah.
right? But why don't we can't forget the fact that, you know, if you want to change the world, maybe you're going to rub people the wrong way.
Yep.
And you
You have
cannot tell me that he hasn't changed the narrative on electric vehicles. He has.
Yep.
If you see what Starlink has done across the world, even in Alberta, man, we're living in Alberta, and the fact that, you know, people have Wi-Fi because of him,
Yeah.
that's
It's a big deal. Yeah.
He's providing some base infrastructure for people. So I'm pro Elon in the sense that he has moved the narrative on many industries, and many people can't say the same.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's owned Twitter, we'll see what happens at the end of the day. But let's be honest, Twitter is a very small minority of what happens in the real world anyways. So
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what happens. I'm excited to see what happens. And yeah, it's been a great experiment.
Do you think he will turn this into the next WeChat? I'm sure you may have seen that. You're familiar with WeChat, right?
Of course, I use WeChat all the time.
So for those who don't know, WeChat is a Chinese app and company. Basically in China, you
It's
do
a
everything
super
on
app.
WeChat. It's a super app. You message, it's your social media, you buy food on there, you order your groceries. Anything happens in one singular app.
To me, I've never heard that take in my life. That Twitter would become the super app.
Oh, you haven't seen that? Okay.
No, I haven't heard that take. Why would it become a super app?
So when he first started taking this over, that's how a lot of the news articles, the headlines were saying that's actually what he wants to do is figure out a way to build it into WeChat. Whether this is true or not, we don't know. But that's why I was curious when he
build
said
it
that.
into another version of.
He wants to turn
WeChat.
Twitter into WeChat for North America.
Okay.
How do we do all the same stuff and this is the end all be all app
Yeah.
for everything? Do you think something like that could work in North America?
You know, I thought that's what Meta was supposed to do with Facebook. They were trying to turn it into a WeChat, right? If you look actually at Facebook's feature list, like it has everything. It has like dating and marketplaces. And
they do have
payments
everything,
and messaging. Like I think they were trying.
it's going to take a long time to do that. The reason is because Twitter is like, very few people have Twitter. Like, to be honest with you, although Twitter dominates discussions because all the media are on Twitter, not many people actually tweet. Like, you and I tweet, but like in my life,
I know.
yeah, exactly. So as that being the gateway drug to becoming a super app, you don't have eyeballs, right?
Yeah.
If you had, for example, like Instagram turning into a super app, to me that makes more sense. It's more of a gateway, or WhatsApp.
Yeah, WhatsApp too.
To me, that makes way more sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Because WeChat is a way more of a, you do use it daily, right? Your messaging,
everything
your
is
pictures, exactly.
Your whole life is based on it. I don't know if that'll ever happen here because I feel like there's just so much already happening.
Yeah.
To get everyone to come into one doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, but last piece on this, I think he will make Twitter more profitable. I don't,
you saw the monthly recurring thing. He made like what, 90 million in one day and then shut it off.
I didn't see that.
When he did the blue check marks.
Oh, okay.
Like that's how much they in sales, and he just
and then he cut his staff and whatnot. Like, this is, people. People are so pissed off that Elon has laid off all these people, and like it's become such a big thing. But when an organization goes through a leadership change, listen, I was a management consultant for over a decade.
Yeah, you've seen this.
When a private equity firm comes in, or they're doing a leadership change, there's new organization, the new reorg. Unfortunately, what happens is that the new leader wants to put their stamp, and there's usually layoffs. Listen, when Steve Jobs came to Apple, I think he laid off like 4,000 people. They had 7,000 people at the time. Like, it's the same thing with what Elon is doing in a sense. So the only thing is that this is public, right?
Yeah.
Everything that Elon does is public because it's Twitter, and all the media on Twitter, and all our eyeballs are on it.
Yeah.
So
the only difference is the way he's doing it is a little bit harsher, and the emails and tweets are just out there. So everyone's just dissecting him as a person.
Actually, I don't know why it's so harsh to say to put out a very transparent email.
Yeah.
And say to people, listen, I've taken over. We're starting Twitter 2.0.
Yep.
It's going to be intense. It's going to be hard. If you're in, you're in. If you're out, see you later.
I didn't see any issue with it either.
To be honest with you, that's transparency. Actually, if you see most organizations and how I've run, and I have seen it, there's way less transparency.
Yeah.
They fire people and say, you're gone. In this case, he gave people the option to opt. Exactly. You opt in or you out.
He was actually being a good leader.
I actually agree that he was in this case. Yet that's such a controversial thing to say. Anyways, I could go on about it.
I love these hot takes. World Cup's going on right now.
Woo!
First of all, are you a soccer fan?
You know what? I'm a tangential soccer fan. I'll tap in when I need to.
But World Cup's different. I always say World Cup's different than watching like Premier League and stuff.
It's like my brother is like the biggest fan in the world. So I just like, through osmosis, I get all the.
So you're getting everything. So obviously Canada's out. It's fine.
Yep.
We had a good little showing. Do you have a favorite team or a favorite soccer player?
I'm like a finesse guy, just like how I love Kyrie or Curry or I love Ronaldo.
Yeah.
I'm Ronaldo's a little bit more finessey than Messi is. So I do love Ronaldo. I love a lot of the Brazilian guys too, like because I love watching futsal. Do you know futsal? It's kind of like
futsal's dope. There's a documentary on Netflix on it, and it's dope.
Really?
It's sick.
Like I just love because it's just finesse. It's straight finesse.
Yeah.
In fact, I think futsal should be like
I would
rather watch futsal than
it's like
football.
Street soccer.
Yeah.
If you don't know futsal, you should watch it. It's great. I love watching it. So with the World Cup, there's been some interesting things happening.
Okay.
We're not going to dive into all the politics and corruption and FIFA or Qatar, but have you heard about them paying fans?
I saw that. Is that real though? Is that confirmed? Did they?
Okay, here's why I think it's firm. This is my hot take: is when you watch all the videos of the fans or you watch the people celebrating, they're all brown.
Right.
Every single one looks like they're from India or Pakistan, which is fine.
Yeah.
But there wasn't any other color in all of the fans there, which makes me think like, were they actually paid? And going back to these conspiracies and things with Qatar, it's like everything was so not thrown together. But it's been so much, it's been in the spotlight with the news, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't mind seeing maybe a lot of those people actually worked on the building all the buildings. So in that case, give them some free tickets. They built the entire infrastructure, $290 billion of infrastructure in Doha. So let them enjoy it. I don't know if those are the people that are actually in the stands, but
I don't know. I just want to say I hope they do reward them, because that's actually where I was going to take this. I hope they reward the workers, and I hope that these were the workers. My last thing on the World Cup was the stadiums are ridiculous. You just said they spend a crazy amount of money. When a World Cup comes to they're coming to North America next. It'll be in Mexico, US, and Canada for 2026. We're not going to be building stadiums, I would assume. When FIFA goes and builds stadiums, or you have to build stadium in a country.
Well, FIFA didn't do it, but yeah.
Well, sorry, when Qatar has to build it and they spend these billions of dollars, and then the stadiums are done, and no one probably ever goes back to play. How do you think that affects the country?
Well, that's the thing, is that, I'm assuming they have a backup plan on what they're going to do after. I wonder if they make sure that they're like makeshift stadiums or something like that. I know, like the fan villages, they can take down the stadiums. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do after. Maybe it becomes like a business hub. Maybe it becomes like a sporting hub. I'm sure they have some sort of backup plan for this, because that is crazy. Because it's only I think Doha only has like 1 million people that live there. So
it's just something interesting I thought about.
Like 1 million people, 1 million people live in Edmonton, Alberta. And we had 11 stadiums.
Could you imagine? What would we do? I guess you would be filming your keynotes.
Yeah. I would just, hey guys, can I rent this out? $300 a pop. Yeah.
Okay, let's transition into Shawn. Shawn Kanungo.
Yeah.
Before we do that, I have 2 more questions. The first one is a TikTok I saw you put out recently. Well, not recently. It may have been a few weeks or maybe a month ago.
Okay.
But you were talking about an app. And the app is called the Croak app.
Oh.
And I don't want to explain the Croak app, but I would like you to quickly explain the Croak app and why you use it.
Yeah.
And do you actually still use it?
Yeah. So I do use it. It's called We Croak.
We Croak, okay.
And what We Croak does, it reminds you that you're gonna die. And it sends you a quote. You open up the notification, it reminds you that you're gonna die, and then it sends you a quote. Like an inspirational quote. Multiple times a day. It will send it to you whenever. It's like Be Real. It'll send you whenever you're out. Like it'll just send you, you're gonna die. Sometimes I might like on a flight and be like, you're gonna die. I'm like, right now? No, it's a good reminder, because it checks you, right? You always need to get checked. Maybe you're doing something, you're doing something frivolous, you're watching Netflix when you shouldn't be, or you're on your phone, or whatever, and it checks you. You're like, oh, hey, you're gonna die. Like, oh, okay, I should be spending time with my loved ones, or I should be spending time doing something that's more fruitful. So I think it's a good check. And ultimately, it is a reminder that you are going to die every single day. It's a reminder that, life is short. It's a reminder that you have to keep moving. You have to keep exploring, keep learning. And so I love that. I want to be reminded of death, because I'm reminded also of my dad. My dad passed away in 2008. And what's funny is that well, it's not funny, but it's after he died, it's like a whirlwind when your father dies or somebody dies around you. So many people at your house, you're just inundated with people. And then what really hits is in the 2-week period after that. At 2 weeks, everybody kind of trickles out. Your house is empty. And that's when it hits. And in a good way, where people actually move on. They go off and do their own things. They go on to their lives, right? And it's a reminder that everyone moves on. And to me, it's like, it's actually inspirational, because it's a reminder that no one really, even in death, don't think about you every single day.
Yeah.
So it's like, you got to do whatever you love to do and do it every single day. Otherwise, what's the point of living? So to me, I'm always reminded by that. And that's why I keep it activated.
That may have been the clip of the pod so far.
Woo!
Just it may
Are you
have
sure?
been.
I thought that Elon.
But there was some great clips, but that was an inspirational, deep one.
Yeah.
And when I saw it, I'm pretty sure it was a TikTok, but either way, it's a great piece of content you put out. I saw it. I looked this app up because I was so intrigued. I'm like, there's no way Shawn is doing this. And it was just like, I showed Ambika that, and I was like, oh, this is insane. And the first rebuttal was like, oh, you don't need that. But in my mind, I'm like, man, so many people would actually benefit from this app, because it is just one of those reminders that helps push you. Because
Yeah.
we get caught up in our life. You get caught up doing keynotes and everything's going on. But maybe sometimes you do need that subtle reminder. Just be like, yo, like let's push a little more, or let's take a step back and enjoy like what we have in front of us.
Yeah, to me, it's a step back. It's a reminder
Yeah.
that you need to step back.
No, I love it. Disruption.
Yeah.
Right now we're getting to this phase of Shawn Kanungo a little bit here. The first thing I want to ask you is in 2022, what's like the one thing, like what was like the theme? If there could be like a theme of disruption, one thing that came in and just like shook up 2022, what was that product or brand or thing that did it?
I think in 2022, we started to see the power of the individual. I think 2022 is what cemented the idea that individuals can monetize their own craft.
Yeah.
And whether it's people like Mr. Beast, whether it's people like what Barstool has done, whether it's Kims of the world, LeBron hit like $1 billion. Like I think you're starting to see creators really monetize their craft. To me, the most disruptive entity of 2022, 2023 is going to be the individual. And I think we are in the age of the individual.
Mhm.
And I think 2022, we're seeing the power of the individual, right? People moving to Substacks, people moving to Patreon.
Starting to monetize more.
Yeah. So like, I think you saw the trend, but I think 2022, people started to realize it and see how impactful it was, not only outside of your organization, but people started to see it inside. So to me, that is the biggest disruption. It's humans.
And you think in 2023, it's going to be the same? We're gonna see a step up to the next level.
I think we haven't even. I think this was like first inning.
Oh, wait, we're not even close for sure.
Yeah, I think we're going to see. I think we haven't even seen the rocket ship yet. The rocket ship hasn't even gone off yet.
Right.
It's just like the first inning has started.
That's crazy to actually even think about. So when I introduced you in the elevator, there's a couple of different things I said.
What did you say? I'm
you don't even need to worry about it. Whether it was father, husband, entrepreneur, keynote speaker, disruption strategist, TikTok dancer, because you've pulled a few moves on some TikTok.
Okay, yeah.
Which I've seen, just a couple, not many, but I've seen them. So furthering into your story and who Shawn Kanungo is, you were CPA before.
Yeah.
Right. What was the break that transitioned to be like, this is it for me in that field, and then now coming in and dabbling into speaking and becoming.
Well, yeah, I was CPA. So I got my CPA, at the end of 2009. So then I moved into management consulting. So the accounting thing kind of ended in 2009. And then I was in management consulting for 10 years. And I was in strategy, disruption, or innovation. I kind of moved sort of along the chains around doing more digital stuff, innovation stuff. Mm-hmm. And to me, it wasn't a cut. To me, there was never a cut. To me, it was always just progression. It was just So I started my career in accounting. Mm-hmm. Then I dabbled and moonlighted on the side, work weekends, work weeknights, and then to get into consulting. Then I got into consulting 2009 to 2010. Then I worked weeknights, weekends to get into strategy consulting. So I was in strategy. Then I worked weekends, weekends, and then I went into digital. And then I was doing things on the side. I was creating a mobile app for friends, doing films, etc., like that. Then I moved more into innovation. Then I was like speaking on this content around innovation. And then I started advising organizations around innovation on my own. And then so to me, it's been like a constant progression around my career. To me, there wasn't a clear cut, really.
When did you realize that this was going to be the new path you take? Not even new path, but when did you realize like keynote speaking is something that I'm very good at, and you want to really take that? I would call it a risk. It may not have been for you.
Yeah.
But it's a new career.
Yeah.
When did you see that?
No, well, number one is that I never knew that you could, make money.
Do this?
Creating content.
Right.
Whether it's in person, in front of people, in front of audiences, or, on a video, I never knew that you could do that. So just by doing presentations, I would do one presentation. Somebody like, we're having a conference here. Can you come? I'm like, yeah, sure. Okay. And then I would just go to all these conferences, and then all of a sudden people's like, okay, what's your fee? I'm like, okay, here's my fee. And then I'm like I remember the first gig that I ever had, I was like, somebody's like, yeah, what's your speaking fee? I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like, I was like looking up speaking fee. I didn't know anything about it. I'm like,
of course, yeah.
So I just put in, I just said $4K. And they're like, oh, we don't have budget, but we have $2K for you. I'm like, okay, I got off the phone. I told my wife, I'm like, oh my God, someone's gonna pay $2,000 for Biggie Fam. I'm like, that's crazy. And they're gonna fly me out. I'm like, that's amazing. And of course, like, it's been exponential since then. But yeah, that was a start. I'm like, oh shit, I could actually get paid for this and do it, really, really well. So
So in my mind, you've transcended, and I'm not a speaker, I'm not in the space, but in my mind, you transcended what it means to not only like be a speaker and deliver a keynote, but do it in a way that I think a lot of people have never seen it done before. And obviously you would be able to speak to this from the audience you have. But you've completely, like I said, disrupted it in my thought from all the content and things I've seen you do.
yeah.
Is that how you view it? Can you say that?
What? Yeah, can I say that? Well, I don't want to, I was just on another podcast and I said, like, you got to be cocky for yourself instead of being cocky for others, because I think if you say things publicly, people will perceive it in the wrong way. But when I enter into any performance that I'm going to do, I tell myself I'm the GOAT.
Right.
I say I'm the GOAT. I'm going to fucking destroy this. And I want to be in flow. Like, I want to be able to play. I want to be able to dance figuratively, like just.
Yeah.
And so, I think when it comes to virtual, I don't know anybody that can compete with us on a virtual keynote perspective. And it's just not just me, it's like other folks. And then just the way that like we do the keynotes with the graphics and the tech and just how it looks and feels.
It's a whole production. It's literally like a movie.
Yeah. No, I think we're doing it, in terms of in-person keynotes, I have so much to learn but I want to sort of get there. I want to be next to like, the best paid keynotes. It's not about being paid. It's about impact at the end of the day. So I would love to get there. And I'm like, I feel like I'm on the path.
So when it's all said and done, you want to be one of the top keynote speakers in the world? Is that one of the end goals?
No, I think, well, to me, one of the end goals is at the end of the day, I want to be able to, I want to be able to scale companies. I want to be able to take my brand, my influence, my brand around innovation and apply that to whether it's my organizations or organizations I'm working with to scale them up. I think ultimately that's a goal. I think when it comes to the idea of innovation, like I want to be, a thought leader in the space. I want to be able to be on the cutting edge when it comes to innovation and helping organizations when it comes to this. And at the end of the day, I just want to, impact people. I want to be able to change people's lives and their businesses at the end of the day. So yeah, I would love to do that.
You're on your way to doing that.
No, I appreciate that. No, listen, the thing with speaking is that everyone speaks. Literally every single person on the planet speaks. It's like the 100-meter dash. Usain Bolt, he's the fastest man ever to live. And to me, that is one of the most, that's one of the best sports to win at, because everyone can run. It's just like innate, right? But when you're the fastest man on the planet, you can really run. Like it's not like hockey. Maybe a small number of people can play hockey. Maybe, if you're in basketball, you got to be 6'7". Not everybody can play basketball. But everyone can run, right? So I feel in this field of speaking, everyone can speak. So if you're one of the best keynote speakers in the world, like you are truly the best in the world at something that everyone has the potential to do, right? And that is, I think about that a lot. Like,
I like how you pose that. Yeah, it actually makes a lot of sense.
And it's difficult to do.
100% it's difficult to do.
And to me, like, I'm not the best.
And the way you're doing it too.
To me, I'm not the best speaker. Like I say, I'm not very articulate.
Yeah.
But to me, it's the message, it's the content, it's the takes, it's the minds. Like, are you changing people's minds?
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
And that's what I want to, another thing to, not toot your horn or whatever, but you want to call it. But I feel like when you present and when there's an audience there, you could not manipulate, but you could make them think whatever you want because of the way you present, the way you act, like I said, the way you dance around the stage, engage them, you bring other people on, you have the moderator. Like, I feel like there's so many unique elements, even like when you do the Tesla Cybertruck or you walk onto the stage or you have pizza or popcorn before, like those small things to me, like make such a big difference to me sitting in the audience and being able to connect with you.
Yeah.
But
no, I appreciate that. I think
it's a big piece.
I don't think I'm able to, if I'm able to change one person's mind, then that's great. I think changing people's minds is extraordinarily difficult to do. Like, I don't think pumping more information to somebody will change somebody's mind. I think, to me, I'm just planting the seed so that
Yep.
maybe they see the examples in their real life, and then that starts to change their mind. Because I don't know about you, it's very difficult to change people's minds today. Very difficult.
It's very difficult because they can listen to you, then go on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and see 3 different things, and now they're confused.
They're confused, or you're so.
It's just overwhelming.
It's
also,
it's very difficult to change a man with conviction. A man with conviction that is in their own rabbit hole. If you give them information, they will just look the other way. If you pump them with more facts, they will be like, "Where did you get that from?"
Yeah.
It's very difficult to convince people to take a particular path today, and I think that's making actually my job harder to do because I'm trying to disrupt their thinking. It's hard to do.
Let me ask you this: we're on the Brown Ballers podcast.
Yeah.
You're Bengali.
Yes. The first time Bengali has been mentioned on the Brown Ballers podcast.
He is
please.
Bengali, yes. Actually, yeah, literally the first time.
Okay, great.
What is it like? Everyone has a different feeling about this. And I just did a podcast about this for the first time, kind of being a little bit more vulnerable and talking about growing up Indian, but technically I grew up very non-Indian just because of the friend group around me and just how our communities and things impact us. What does it mean to you being brown? Like, is that something that you uphold? Like, you feel like, hey, I'm one of the top brown speakers in the world. Does that never cross your mind? Is that something that ever comes up to you?
Growing up, I grew up in a French immersion sort of background, and I was like one of the few colored people in my class.
Okay.
I remember being a kid, and I'm like, I want to be white because I want to fit in.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be, with others. So I had dreams of being white, or I wish I was white. And then growing up, then you start finding your tribe, right? Then you start finding you start understanding how your differences or your upbringing actually differentiates you from others.
Mm-hmm.
And now I embrace it. Right, I embraced my culture. I embraced the brownness. I talk about it actively in my keynotes, in my presentations, in my content, and with my kids, like it's funny because my daughter will be like, she can point out skin color now, right? And she has come home and said like, oh, like this Barbie, these Barbies are what, they're white or they're peach color, right? And we have to remind her that brown is beautiful, right? We have to remind her that it means something to be brown, and she should be proud of the fact that she's brown. So, man, it's really important for me to infuse, my culture in what I do. I'm not here to be the best brown keynote speaker or author or whatever out there. I do take a look at it. I do take a look at the landscape and see who else is out there.
Of course.
Because I didn't have a model to look at. I didn't have somebody, there wasn't a blueprint. I didn't follow somebody, right? And so I hope that behind me that I can help inspire and bring up people around me, right?
And that's what it's all about.
And that's why I always try to put on people that are brown. Like if I'm doing content or I'm chopping up with people, I want to support the people that don't always get a shot. And so, yeah, I look out for the people, with the same skin color as me.
I feel like that's the biggest thing is just making sure that next gen has someone to look up to. And that's why I asked you that. Like, it's nice that you said that you do look up that list, or you do kind of see who else is in the field doing similar things to you. Because,
yeah, no, I do.
Like I said, like who else do you look up to? Like I always say this, there wasn't a brown Kobe.
Yeah.
There was no brown basketball player at the time that was doing stuff. So it's like, I'm trying to like find these people, and that's part of the podcast is like, who are these people in different fields doing things? Like I said, like I love doctors, scientists, and all those other professions that we can do, or so many of our friends and family do. But what excites me is the things that we do, or the things that are non-traditional, so that we can have a piece of content out there that someone can look to or relate to and be like, oh, I've seen this guy before, or like I want to get his book because of X, Y. You know what I mean? To me, that's what's empowering and what's exciting.
I totally agree. My Deepa, my wife, she went to. And her and her friends went to Rupi Kaur last night. Rupi Kaur is a poet.
The poet. Yep,
she's a poet. She started on Instagram. She created this great poetry.
She's huge.
And she's huge. She's got a great following. And there's a small piece of my book around Rupi Kaur, what she's done. Like she basically took Instagram poetry and just popularized it.
Mm-hmm.
Like to me, she created a new category. She was really, really disruptive in what she did. And I asked one of my friends, Jen, I said, like, so what, like, do you follow poetry? She's like, nah, maybe, not really. But like, I support, like, she's a South Asian woman doing something different. And like, I want to support that. That's awesome. Like, I love that. To be honest with you though, there's so many people within our community that don't support the brown ballers. Not this podcast. I'm just saying in general.
In general, for sure.
Because they look down on people that are trying to take a less traveled, path. And to me, like, I'm always confused as to, when people are trying new things or they're starting a new business, they're starting a new journey. I want to be hyping them up. But yet for some reason, people just like,
within our community, that's never been a thing. And I never understood that.
I'm like, why don't you support your brothers and sisters and friends that are starting something new? Like, and I think it's just that mentality of, you're a doctor. You're like, what is this guy doing? Or what is she doing? Right? I have no idea what he's doing. Like, yeah, because you're not spending the time to understand somebody that's trying to do something different. And I do not think that brown people support brown people enough. And I'm going to say that as a fact.
That is a fact, because I feel it. I tell people this all the time. Actually, you're the only other person that I think has said this in a live setting with me.
Yeah.
The fact that you just said. So that's a clip for me on Instagram that's being put up, because it's like, I never understood why the support wasn't there. And you kind of mentioned this now. It's like, we don't take the time to understand each other.
Yeah.
As opposed to being, okay, I may like your video or see something, but I'll never deep dive into who's he talking to or what's on this website. It'll just be like,
I'll be honest, man. I'll be very honest. People will ask me about you, and they'll be like, yeah, Navin, man. We're like, man, he's doing so many things. What does he do? I'm like, man, you don't even understand, like, what he's doing. Like, because I understand you.
Yeah.
Man, I see you in the Discords in the lab.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in there. I might not be. I'm in there. I see what you're doing with Brown Ballers. I see what you've done with the Creator Classics.
Yeah.
Like, you are on the ground floor pulling some of these unbelievable, like, you're bringing fucking NBA players with some of the best street ballers on the planet. Yeah. I don't think people understand what you're doing. And they'll be like, yeah, what does he do? I'm like, dude, he's fucking running a business, multiple businesses. What are you doing? What are you doing? You don't understand like how inspiring this guy is. And it's like, because you are doing something differently, they don't understand it. So naturally they're like, oh, I don't understand it. Yeah, because you're doing something that everybody else told you to do. So it angers me a little bit, because it's like, don't see it as like condescending or whatever. Right. And I know people probably do the same thing as me, or say the same thing as me. Because like, what does that guy do? Like, he's just like talking. Like, what is he? Like, right. Because they don't understand it.
Yeah, they just don't get it.
Right? Because they didn't follow the path. They took a traditional route. They're a mortgage broker. No offense. I mean, you could be a mortgage broker.
You can do anything you want, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, just spend a little bit of time to support the people that are doing different things. And the problem is that you have to go outside of your realm, outside of your city, outside of your country to make it. And then you come back and then you can point to that person and be like, oh, look at that person, right? Would Drake ever make it in Toronto by himself? No, he had to go outside of Canada, and then he comes back, and then we tell him he's the GOAT.
Yeah.
So to me, that's a tragedy. We should be able to support people locally where they are and then herald them out. Why does somebody have to go outside and get the validation from everybody else?
Exactly.
And then they come back in and we herald them as, a king or a queen.
Sad fact of our society, but we digress. We move on. We build. One day we'll uncover this further. In a deeper.
Sorry, I got heated there.
In a deeper dive. I love this back and forth. So, as you guys can see.
Whoa! Let's go. Let's hold it up.
Here. So let's. So this book, I'm gonna let you like obviously break it down.
Yeah.
But we got the bold ones by Shawn Kanungo. I went to. How would we describe this? It wasn't a Netflix special, but it was a.
It's a pre-book launch.
It was a pre-book launch. So Shawn had a great event, and I'm gonna call it a Netflix special. He basically filmed like his version of a Netflix special with this, and it was dope. Great background, great setup, delivery. I love the interactive bits. I'm gonna let you take over.
Yeah.
This is releasing December 6th. So literally, as you're watching this book is out. Break down, first of all, before we dive too deep into it, how'd this come about?
Yeah. Well, I've been doing a lot of content over the years, and pulling together all these keynotes and stories, and I wanted to pull it together in a book, but I wanted something that was truly me, like something that really represents what I do and who I am. Because to be honest with you, when I do all these keynotes and whatnot, it's not a true reflection of
you.
me. Like, I'm into hip hop, pop culture,
Right.
history, philosophy, psychology, and I've put it into this book. So when you read this book, there's like stories of Drake and Kanye and
Very
Hassan
relatable.
Minaj and historical figures, Genghis Khan and Xingxi, and there's so many, Bill Simmons. There's so many people that are in this book. This is a true representation of me, and I want to dissect the idea of disruptors. Who are people that are doing things differently today, or who are people that were doing things differently in the past that disrupted their own little industry, their own little game, or their own little worlds? That's what I wanted to highlight in this book. And so this is a culmination of like years of blood, sweat, and tears put in this book, and it's applying the idea of innovation disruption to the individual. It's funny because like one of my first keynotes that I ever did was is Drake disruptive?
Really? One of your first ones? Okay.
Yeah. So it was to a group of like graduates or students, and it was applying the idea of disruption and applying it to the individual. That's how I started. And then, of course, like I've been doing corporate keynotes and stuff like that. And, corporations don't want to hear about is Drake disruptive. But I come back to that. I've come back to day one, which is coming back to the idea of analyzing individuals, how they're being disruptive. Going back to the Steph Curry discussion, like I love Steph Curry because he changed the game.
Yeah.
I've been obsessed with this, and that's why I wrote the book.
What is it? I'll answer this, then I'll ask it back to you. If I ever have a book, which one day I would love to, for me, it would just mean a lot. Like I just feel like my heart would be tearing up inside. When you, from inception, creation, I'm sure there was so much behind the scenes that happened with this book and getting a publisher and all that kind of stuff, to now seeing the final product, which you even said it just came a couple of days ago.
Yeah, it came yesterday.
Like, how does it feel to see it in person?
It was a pretty sensational feeling yesterday, just seeing your book in your hands finally, after all the grind and all the edits and the audiobook and dealing with the publisher and my literary agent and just seeing it finally. It was pretty cool to just see and open up. But to me, it's not about the book. It's about, I'm excited to see what happens after. Like, people read the book and they get inspired, or they do something with it. They go off and execute. To me, that's really inspiring. But no, I definitely took a moment yesterday to reflect on how cool it was to have something tangible that you put together. It's the first thing that I've ever done that's like truly tangible and real, something that I can sell and put out in the world. It's really, really special.
Is Mr. Beast in this book?
Of course, Mr. Beast in this book. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to ruin it, because you just made a great point. When I first heard you were coming out with the book and kind of like the premise of it, my first initial thought was, wow, as the next generation coming up, this will be a great, not blueprint, because you're not outlining, but like a great example of like, here's the people you could go find the blueprint for to disrupt, which I think is huge.
Yeah, no, I agree. I have people, again, across industries, across history, and then the people that I really love, like, there are the Mr. Beasts of the world, or, the Nelk Boys, or, we do feature those people in the book. And so I wanted to create something that was, truly modern and authentic. Imagine a business book with Mr. Beast in it. Like, people would not even, you would never find that in a traditional business book, or even like a self-help book. This kind of crosses both lanes. So I wanted something for the not only the creator and the entrepreneur of this era, but also people that are working within an organization that are not planning to be a entrepreneur or creator. Like, that's what I want to create it for.
Yeah, and I think it's great because you're just spotlighting individuals that people should know about. Whether, like you said, whether they want to be a creator, they want to be an accountant. These are people you should know about.
By the way, I'm holding the books. I saw Logan Paul. What he does, he holds his prime everywhere.
You have to place it, bro.
He'll place it. He holds his prime everywhere.
We actually should have had the books all over even more places, but
just like candlelight.
I want to touch on this real quick. So, the branding.
Yeah.
Now, first question for you is, before I explain why, is whose idea was this? Is this like you had a vision and this is how you want it, or is this like you're working with designers and other people to create multiple iterations?
Yeah. So the guys at McGraw Hill, they came up with the first designs. We went back and forth on it, and then ultimately we went with this. I was thinking at the beginning of doing something a little bit more, I guess, colorful, or, but you know, I just kind of went with their direction, which was, listen, this is bold. Let's go with a black background and just make it pop a little bit on the stores. Like they know what, like on a bookshelf, obviously in Barnes and Nobles,
Of course,
or
they have the
Chapters,
expertise.
or what's gonna pop. So you know, definitely it definitely stands out in the bookstore.
The reason I say that is because I like it.
Yeah, great.
I'm not
great.
trying to bash it. I'm
No,
like,
I like it.
love the black. I love the color. I love the gradient, the fade.
Dope.
And like I said, it's just simple. It's like
Yep.
if I'm trying to picture if I saw this in a bookshop, which I do go book shopping, which people don't know. I feel like I would just be
Yeah.
attracted to this. Be
Yeah.
like, what is the bold ones? Because it's intriguing. And on the back, you have some great names.
Yep.
I'll let you pick one name.
Yeah, yeah.
And-
Well, I'll pick.
Well, I know you've done something with Michelle. I think you've done a keynote with Michelle.
Yeah. Michelle Romanow, she's the co-founder and CEO of Clearco, Dragon's Den on Dragon and Dragon's Den. Manjeet Minhas, who you're probably going to get on the podcast soon.
Manjeet, if you're watching.
Yeah. No, Manjeet's
watch you, yeah.
amazing. She's amazing. No, Ben Nemtin, he's number one New York Times bestselling author. I think he's like on the come up. He just did an amazing interview with like Colin Samir, which everybody should go watch. And
I didn't even see that. I gotta check that out.
Yeah. So some cool people that sort of endorse the book. And
I'm excited for you. You have
Thank
a lot
you.
of cool things going on. You know I'm a huge fan. I've been telling
appreciate
you this for like X amount of years we've known each other. And I continue to be, and I will continue to be supportive of you. And we're going to continue hopefully making more content. And
Yeah,
things.
absolutely,
So not
man.
just podcasts, just content in general, because I do love doing this with you, this banter for the book.
Yeah.
As you're watching this, it came out December 6th. Today's the 7th. But where can they all go buy it? Is it Amazon, Barnes & Noble?
Yeah, I would recommend like walk into your local bookstore and or even just the Chapters, Indigo, Barnes and Noble, wherever you are. It's nice to see something and walk into a store.
It's the physical feel.
And go buy it.
Yeah.
You're in an airport, go buy it. I love that. Of course, you can get it on Amazon. Amazon is the biggest bookseller on the planet, so you can go on Amazon. But just go there and physically go there and say, I'm looking for the bold ones. And that's probably
That's the best way to do it.
That's the best way.
Be bold about it. Basically.
Yeah. That's probably the best way to do it. And then, if you do buy the book, just like, take a picture of it, send it to me. I want to know who's reading it. And
build that community up.
Yeah, absorbing it. And I'm just hoping that this changed one person's life, or they go off and they're like, yeah, I want to try this.
They take a risk based off this. Yep.
I want to be bold.
I love that. I got two more quick things here.
Yeah, please.
First of all, any piece of you gave a lot of great. You actually gave a couple great pieces of advice throughout this. But would there be one singular piece of advice that you could give to the next generation of brown ballers watching this? And it could be broad, it could be general. It doesn't have to be just for becoming a speaker. Just something you live by.
Yeah, I think specifically for the Brown Ballers podcast, there are 4 words that have really crushed brown people, which is, what will people say? It's this line that has prevented us from like doing what we love to do. It's prevented us from taking athletics or being a creator or marrying the person that we really love. What will people say has crushed so many people. And I think if we actually flip that and embrace it and say, what will people say in the sense that actually you should be the one that people talk about. You should be someone that people talk about positively or even negatively, because at least you're doing something that's truly disruptive. Because at the end of the day, no one really gives a shit about you. They don't. No one gives a shit about you.
It's a fact.
So, to me, that's inspiring to go off and like actually do something that you love to do and do something that's that you're passionate about. So I would say that.
I love it, man. It's another clip, by the way. What's next?
What's next?
What's next for Shawn Kanungo? More talks? Is it already starting on book number 2?
No, to me, a couple things. I got a baby on the way, February. New baby in the mix,
Congratulations, my
number
brother.
3. That's on the way. obviously this book, and I'm going to be on this book grind for the next year and a half.
Right,
Like I'm
pushing
going to
it
be
out.
launching this. Like I just launched this book for the next year.
Yeah.
And pumping this. When it comes to talks, I want to keep keep doing this at a very high level. We're gonna have like a special that's dropping pretty soon, and I'll give
I'm excited for that.
more info on that. Continually involve myself in companies. I want to grab more equity stakes in companies and being able to spread my wings there and being able to scale and help advise companies on that front. And then just being back on Brown Ballers number 100 and coming to that party. And
Brown Balls 100?
yeah, 100. The 100th episode.
The 100th episode.
We're gonna have a party.
Okay, I think
we're gonna have all the Brown Ballers there.
I think you're actually gonna be like 20. So yeah, next year.
Yeah. Next year we're gonna have Brown Ballers 100, and we're gonna have everybody there.
And Title League's gonna sponsor and pay for the whole thing.
Absolutely. Hey,
Right?
Title League, you guys. Thank you.
So there you have it. Make sure you guys follow.
Thank you guys.
Make sure you guys follow Shawn, man. That's Shawn Kanungo and everything. ShawnKanungo.com. The Bull one is out right now. Go cop it. Send him a DM.
Please.
Send him a picture of your face with the book. Send him some ideas. Tell him how much this book impacted your life in a positive way. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank
As
you,
always, a lot of fun,
Amazing,
man.
man.
I can't wait for the next one.
Thank you guys. All right.